All right. So I watched the video firsthand, the To Kill a Sparrow, I think it was called, and it was very interesting. And however, my first question when I saw it before hearing the lecture is, what can an average Westerner like me, sitting behind my computer, watching it on YouTube, what can I do to kind of help out this problem? Or is there anything I can do other than being aware?
I think in terms of jumping in and helping out, I think the best thing that Westerners can do is understand some of the organizations inside of Afghanistan that are actually working to support the rights of women and children. And there are many organizations, there are many people, both Afghan organizations and international. The most successful are probably the Afghan organizations that are partnering with Western or international organizations. So one that we're, Rafi's organization, for which he is a manager of the Herat office, is the Afghan Independent Bar Association. And they are an organization, ABA is the organization. They train lawyers and defense attorneys. They educate the public about civil laws and Sharia law and how to actually apply Sharia law. But they're building a civil code in Afghanistan, I mean, really from the ground up, and doing a pretty terrific job. And have lots of programs to support the rights of women and children. So, and poor people, right? So, you know, different are passing very progressive laws in Afghanistan. That every defendant has a right to a defense attorney and these sorts of things. That women and men should be treated equally in a court of law. So I think supporting those kinds of organizations is very valuable.
Okay. And what do you think lawyers and human rights activists in these organizations like ABA and things like that can do to start changing the, I use quotations, traditions in many parts of Afghanistan, like way out in the isolated parts, that would promote more equality before the law and better treatment?
I think what can organizations such as ABA do to address issues of tradition that really harm the rights of minorities, women and children, and poor people? I think Rafi can better answer this, but I think the best, what I'm seeing, or what we're seeing, is writing a civil code that addresses, that is built on a democratic process and built on the fundamental equal rights of all citizens in Afghan society. And that's what ABA is doing, so, or participating.
Okay. And do you think the widespread legal reform that will require a lot of loss of other traditions, or do you think widespread legal reform will mean that some other traditions that are unique to Afghanistan get kind of phased out, or do you think only the negative ones that directly contradict equal human rights and equality before the law?
I think from speaking with Rafi, it sounds as though the legal activists in the judicial system are doing a pretty good job of finding ways to blend the positive, the progressive and positive, traditional components of Afghan society, I guess traditions, with a new civil code of justice. So.
Finding the balance is important. And then my last one for you. After watching the YouTube video, I made the mistake of scrolling down and looking at the comment section, and some of it was really distressing to see what people were saying, you know, just huge generalizations of Islam, the Middle East in general. And so what do you think your role is to dispel the stereotypes about Afghanistan, Islam, and the Middle East when you're showing these videos that To Kill a Sparrow definitely showed a very negative aspect of Afghanistan? So how do you think you can dispel stereotypes while still showing these negative sides?
You know, when Rafi and I, the other day, on Sunday, we watched the video ourselves and talked about it. And so we're thinking about how we were going to plan the talk on Wednesday, and realized that how important it is to show these kinds of videos and then give somebody like of the stature and the knowledge of Rafi to speak to what is actually happening on the ground. You know, most often we don't have that. Right? Most Americans have an image of Afghanistan as backwards in so many different ways, but certainly in the ways of human rights and the rights of women and children. But people don't stop to see what's actually happening on the ground. And so, you know, that video is very one-sided in a way. I mean, even the woman says, I mean, they never say how many cases there are. Right? She doesn't talk about all the positive things that are happening, all the really important transformations that have taken place in Afghanistan, beyond and apart from this video. I mean, granted, this is a problem, but how many cases are there compared to how much progress has been made to really eradicate this? And Afghanistan is a big society, and there's lots of illiteracy, so it's not going to change overnight. You know, and the woman, the narrator, the filmmaker in the very beginning of the film says, this is a problem that affects all women in Afghanistan. We were talking, like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't affect all women in Afghanistan. This is the problem. So it's then incumbent upon, you know, people like Rafi, and again, someone of his knowledge and stature, who's on the front lines of this, to be able to have a conversation to talk about the issues in a more open, realistic way.
All right. So first, I just want to ask a couple background questions about you, about your work, and then I'll be asking you the same questions I just asked Dr. Richards. And so first, I read about you a little bit on the internet and saw that you started out with the International Legal Foundation, and now you're working with ABA. So first of all, I guess, what inspired you to study law in Afghanistan, and when did you know you wanted to pursue that as a career?
Thank you. First of all, as you know that we were born in Afghanistan during a lot of problems, and when I was a child, so there's a lot of bad action, maybe civil war in Afghanistan. So I just growing in a country that there is a civil war, and I witnessed for every major, problem that I faced in Afghanistan. So at the same time, I just see and witness a lot of, illegal decision, and also, the breach of the law, or sometimes the people just arrest without any reason, and they don't know about law, and there is no someone to defend for them. For that reason, I just take decision to go to law school and to be a good defense attorneys, and to be, provide free legal, or maybe sometimes legal aid for indigenous people, to support the right of people, especially the right of women and children.
Yeah. Do you think there was one defining moment in your life that prompted you to become a lawyer, or would you say it's the accumulation of the things you just described?
Yes, sure. When I graduated from faculty, so I became a defense attorney, and working is my in job, or maybe in professional that I choose it. I'm inside of the system, so we're trying to solve the everything problem, and also, yes.
Okay, thank you. So where has your work taken you across Afghanistan or around the world?
First of all, I was working in Kabul. So then we start as you mentioned before, I started my activity, a professional activity with the Independent Legal Foundation, Afghanistan, in Kabul. So after a few months or a few, time, so we expand our program through the other provinces. So I just started working in province of Afghanistan. After that, to expand the rule of defense attorney, or the culture of defense attorney to other provinces. Then, just we see, so there is expansion of the program, everything, so we need to be connected with the world and to receive the experience from the world to support some of the program. And then I just joined in some international conference. So I just visit South Africa 2 times, I just visit Canada, I visited several times Europe countries. I participate a lot of conference about the legal system, access to justice, and rule of law. At the same time, we start the program with dialogue with the Penn State University. So this is the diversity, and this is that show that we are now in the with the cooperation and with the cooperation with the other countries, we are solving the problem in Afghanistan.
Which countries that you have been to do you think have been most responsive and, trying to think of the right word, most happy to hear about your message and helped you?
As you know, Afghanistan, story are very interest for everyone involved. Because this is the story, the reality story, this is the humanity story that people trust. When I visit every country, they are interested to support our activity, to interest to have some relation with us to expand our program in world. But as you know that in Afghanistan, America, the US are one of the big country and big a donor that built everything in Afghanistan. So we have a lot of contact with the US. So we receive a lot of fund or a lot of project from the US. Especially the USAID just support us to expand our program through Mazar, through Herat, through Jalalabad, through Kandahar, and now also the USAID want to support us for long term.
Okay, good. Now, what do you think, as a lawyer, you can do to start changing the long-held traditions that many of the, or in many parts of Afghanistan, to promote more equality before the law and better human rights?
Afghanistan is, as I mentioned before, a country that just is, we still in the war. We're not finished in the war. We're still in the war. So, but now it's a little bit change. So, this is a traditional country and have a lot of traditional things or cultural things. Some of the traditions are very good and they're according to the law. The people are trusting. But some of them not according to law. It's against law. We call bad traditional or bad custom. So our rule are to fighting with these customs. So how we can fight on this? First of all, when we expand the legal system around the country, instead of the bad custom, this is one of the best things that we are doing now.
Right.
So, for example, if we just build or to open an office in one of provinces, this is mean that the poor people are not going to the bad custom. They are just came to formal justice to according to the law. They solve the problem according to the law. For that reason, one of the way that we are expand and fighting against this to expand our program into the provinces. The second thing is increasing the knowledgeable people in the judicial systems. As you know, when we start our activity in 2004, we had just about 100 defense attorneys. The most of them are old people, but now we have the registration number of the defense attorney in Afghanistan, 3,000 defense attorneys. This is mean that for each, when we expand our members, when we increase the members, just one, this is mean that we are fighting with one of the bad customs. So this is the second way that we are fighting the custom. The third thing is, the professionalism. Now we are working to train the defense attorney, judge, prosecutor, police to apply the law. When the organs apply the law, this is mean that we are fighting against the bad custom. And the final thing is public awareness program. So the public awareness program is one of the best way to tell the people, look, this is the priority, this is the law, and these, if you are, just solve the problem according to law and legal systems, this will be value. Right. So what's the bad things of the customs? So we are just telling the bad customs. So we are now working on public awareness program through video, through brochure, through the media, and also through the mosque, and I'll help the people to tell the people this is right, this is wrong. These are the way that we are fighting with the bad customs. Okay. Now the world, the world are just like the same in one countries. So everyone, if I'm living in Afghanistan in Middle East are not separate from the America. So now every people in world they're thinking that we are living in same country, in same in world. We are the same country. For that reason, the problem I'm thinking that the problem of each people of Afghanistan is the problem of the United States, each people. So this is a humanity. Okay. So I am sure that and I'm sure I have many experience from past that they support some of the programs. As as you see that one of the picture from the refugee, the child refugee. Right. So this is bring change in the world. So I'm sure that when they are just know the reality and the need, they will be help us. Yes.
Yeah. Since you've been working with the International Legal Foundation and ABA, how has the legal landscape in Afghanistan changed?
In 2004, when I joined Bar Association, so we don't have anything. We had a trial, but there is no fair trial. We had a prosecutor, but they are not educated prosecutor. We had a law at that time. The law had some big problems, and at the same time, there is no any defense attorney in the case. So the people cannot access to justice. The people cannot argue. Just the people arrested without any reason, just prosecuted and take decision court and send it to jail. So we see a lot of change during of the last 10 years in Afghanistan. In the in legislative sections, we are making the government making a lot of the new law with the cooperation of the civil society, with the cooperation of the each department which is belong to. In access to justice, now the people can access for defense attorneys in even not in just in Kabul, in each provinces. In also in education of or professional legal system, now the defense attorney, prosecutor, and judge are educated people because they graduate from a long-term education after the graduation from university and become the judge. So this is the change that we are seeing now. But we still have problem, some problem, because the long war in Afghanistan bring everything, just broken everything. So the build of things need more time. But we have a lot of achievement now, and we are working to be achieve more.
Good. So, do you think that the legal reform will mean that a lot of not necessarily bad traditions and perhaps good customs get wiped out along with, or as the country progresses legally and with human rights?
The good custom or bad customs?
As the bad customs are eradicated, do you think that good customs are also in danger? Unique Afghani
Yes.
customs?
You know, in Afghanistan, we have some element
Mm-hmm.
when we are making a law.
Mm-hmm.
One of the element of the making a law, this is the custom.
Mm-hmm.
So this is mean that we are born with the custom and we are died with the custom. But I mean the good customs. So because the good custom are one of the element of the making the law, this is in the law.
Mm-hmm.
A law support this. It's not against law. Law support this. But the problem, the danger is the bad custom that the law not support, and in the other hand, this is against the law. So we are fighting on that in past, but we still have some of the bad custom now. And for that reason, we are fighting to solve the problem now. As you know, in the picture that tomorrow we will show a video. So if we see in the video, there is a bad custom that we still have in some provinces. We want to solve the problems.
Right.
But these are not in the law. The law has hate this kind of customs. So we need to solve the problem and fighting against the bad custom to support the good customs.
Okay. Now I have just one last question. I did watch the video that will be shown, and I did enjoy it. But I read the comments below the video on YouTube, and some of them were very disparaging towards. I think a lot of people missed the point of the video, and they just said, Islam is bad, the Middle East is lost. So I think we can both agree it is valuable to show these videos, but how do you balance showing the negative aspects of Afghanistan with dispelling negative stereotypes?
One of the bad things that now in the world, the people, when they see some show, they see some action of the one person, they realize that this is the true, or this is the things that Islam's or law says that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're thinking that this is a systematic, decision. So this video showed it. So when you see the video, this is show that they are taking decision wrong, they are talking decision wrong, they are talking wrong, and they are something tell that against Quran, against Islam, against law. So yes, one of the bad things that the people are not yet just to investigate, is Islam say like that or not? Because Islam are not the comment of Islam is not from the one statement. Islam's comment says Quran. Quran does not say this kind of things.
Right.
For that reason, this is our job tomorrow to show the people that look, this message are not Islam. This message are not show the reality of people of Afghanistan. This message not show the reality, or this video not show the reality of the Islam. Islam is a peace, religion. Islam is a good religion. Islam is support this kind of, not support this kind of things. So yes, but my suggestion is for the people that first of all, when you see some things, then investigate about this. Is this right or is this wrong? So one of my job tomorrow to tell the people that they're right or they're wrong. Is this in the law? Is this against the law?